Are Chelsea at risk of losing their top 4 place? This is a debate that's starting to rumble when you're tuning into different media outlets, and I like to go through YouTube and see what the vloggers are saying, and there's definite concern from Chelsea fans at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Defensively, they're very porous. They only managed to win 3 of their last 9 games last season. And as far as this season is concerned, last weekend's defeat to Leeds was quite telling, but it didn't just come in isolation. I was with them in pre-season. They lost a couple of games that they'd been expecting to win out there. And I think part of it is that Thomas Tuchel hasn't been able to focus solely on coaching the team. Because they don't have a sporting director, he's had to work hand in glove with the owners in terms of identifying talents, and obviously they've been in this interminable struggle to find a new defender. They need players in other areas of the pitch. They need a striker, and he's been very open about the fact that he'd prefer not to be doing all of that. He'd prefer to be working solely with the team, and because they haven't got the players that they want, they're still quite undercooked, in my opinion. Listen, it's 3 games gone. There's nothing to say that they can't go on a run later in the season. But I look at Spurs and the recruitment there and the organisation, and the fact that they have a guy in charge whose track record in his last 3 clubs has been nothing short of sensational. I look at Arsenal and I look at the recruitment there, the joined-up thinking, most importantly, and the fact that they look as though they could push on from last season, missing out on the Champions League by a whisker. And it says to me that nobody at Chelsea can take a top 4 place for granted this season.
Absolutely. Jermaine, do you agree with them?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that you did say that slightly irked me about what Thomas Tuchel was thinking in terms of the squad. They want to improve it, which naturally every squad needs improving and players bringing in, etc. But they finished 3rd. So with the players they have at their disposal, you would like to argue, and the players that they brought in with Sterling, Koulibaly, Cucurella as well, who I'm actually quite a big fan of.
Wicked
really good
player. They're taking him at United all day.
Yeah. But then you've also got Conor Gallagher coming back on from his loan spell at Crystal Palace last season. You got Broja, who's a centre forward who they've arguably been crying out for a centre forward. He was playing at Southampton last season. There's good players in that squad, and granted they do need to improve the centre of midfield, I feel like, but it just feels like another excuse for Thomas Tuchel. I understand sporting director's role, and I understand that he takes a lot of pressure off the manager, but look, there's plenty of time in the afternoons and in the evenings for him to do the hard yards, searching for these other players as well.
I feel though we're quickly forgetting about what happened in the derby as well, for Chelsea against
and how
Spurs,
good they were against
Spurs. They were
Spurs.
outstanding,
Incredible.
that day, and it's only 2 games ago, but then when you go to Leeds and games like with the rivalry as well, they should have been better and they just weren't at it that day. It was quite a lacklustre performance is what it felt like, but perhaps you're right, Darren, perhaps it is the fact that the manager's not getting to completely commit to his coaching duties because there's still 7 days left in the window and you've got your owner playing football manager.
Well, absolutely.
He is as well. That's what it seems like, isn't it?
I mean, I feel sorry for the owner in many respects because he does have a clear vision.
He's so broke.
But he sacked everybody of any real influence doing a good job under the past regime. So you have to feel sorry for him to a certain extent, and then you have to say, well, the rest of it's your own fault for not having somebody else in place to take over when you decided to give these lot the boot.
And I agree with that. I think that if you're going to get rid of the people that had been part of the old regime, you've got to have a plan.
Absolutely.
And I think as far as they're concerned, they knew they were going to take over. That some of the spending has just not been justified, and some of the decision making at Chelsea has not been value for money. And some of the decision making to not keep Antonio Rudiger, to me, was just crazy. It's just crazy to allow him walk out the door for free to go to Real Madrid. But I do feel sympathy in so much as a lot of the players that Chelsea wanted to sign, Barcelona stole in and signed them. They wanted Rafinha, Barcelona nicked him. They wanted Lewandowski, Barcelona nicked him. I just think as far as Chelsea are concerned, they've had to go to their second choice and their third choice in a lot of cases. And so the side that they have isn't anywhere near where they wanted it to be. And in an ideal world, they wouldn't want to be investing £20 million in a 33-year-old in Aubameyang, particularly when they've let an £100 million striker go to Inter Milan. That doesn't look great at all. So no, I am worried because I just think that there's more joined up thinking and cohesion at the other two clubs. And just one key thing, you said that, and you were right to say that, are we forgetting that Chelsea game against Spurs, the derby? But the problem was they didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can play well for an hour, but if you don't get the job done and then you fall apart in the next game against Leeds, that does say to me that there are alarm bells.
They didn't fall apart against Leeds. Leeds absolutely took them to the cleaners. Just for the record, that's the first thing.